All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Drunken Atheists podcast. I'm Jack, and
And
who is.
I'm Ethan.
Okay, he's Ethan. Guess what? There's no Brock today. Oh my
Isn't
God.
this so exciting?
That's crazy. Not only did Ethan break his contract and show up for two consecutive episodes, but Brock, who has had a, 19 episode, or
100%
18 episode streak. Yeah, 100% sh- what
attendance rate.
attendance rate. He's not here today. It's crazy. Unheard of. You got any comments?
Yeah, so we're actually kicking him off, unfortunately,
Yeah, he's fired.
yeah,
He's,
after it was revealed to us that I don't know if I should share this with the class, but he did the stanky leg too hard, and he's
oh,
actually been fired for that.
if you do the stanky leg, I mean, you can't go overboard. Otherwise, people are gonna like
People
call
are
you
gonna revolt.
names. Yeah, they're gonna form an uprising. That's how governments collapse. Somebody does the stanky leg too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's your week been?
Um, it's been all right. I've been kind of feeling like weird. Like I thought maybe I was sick, but I took a COVID test. I was negative, so and I don't really have that many symptoms. I just kind of feel bleh. I think I might just be like getting kind of sick of school at this point. I just want to kind of get to summer break.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
about
summer's right around the corner, so
what about you? Anything cool?
nothing too eventful. Pretty mellow week. Hung out with friends a lot this weekend though. It's pretty nice outside, at least
Yeah,
in Massachusetts. So
yeah, it's pretty
I'm
nice weather.
excited for good weather to stick around more often. It was a little rainy this week, so
Yeah, cool, cool. I got a couple tidbits. I figured that maybe stuff that because you've only been on for maybe like what 3 episodes or so.
I think it's been four.
Four?
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I figured there's a lot of stuff that maybe I ran through with Brock that I could do a second run through with you and get, the Ethan take, because maybe,
Oh brother.
in my opinion, Brock's tastes we usually don't align very often. So
Brock butts heads with everyone he can find.
yeah. Well, I'm not saying I have the best takes either, but we'll see.
Oh no, you certainly don't.
Well, actually, I am saying that I do have the best takes. What am I talking about? But all right. Well, so on podcast number 16, I'm opening my notebook, by the way. I like to make a point about this because I know you hate it whenever I reference my book of notes that I bring on because I keep notes for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I on podcast number 16, the page for that episode, I have a lot of things I didn't cover, and some of them I might have covered, forgot to cross out, but it doesn't matter since, you're a different person. You're not Brock, and I don't think you were around for episode number 16. So we can hit some of these maybe.
Alrighty.
Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. This is the one I think I might have brought up in some episode, but I think I want your opinion on it. Say you went to McDonald's, right? And you're hungry, particularly more hungry than maybe you've ever been before, and you want to order a certain number of McNuggets to eat. How many McNuggets is too many to order?
Now, let me get this straight. Too many to order in that I won't eat them all, or socially
No,
unacceptable to order?
that they will refuse to give you.
I don't remember this being on an episode, but this is a good question. Actually, no, it's not, but whatever. I'm gonna look up, hold on, let me look up the McDonald's menu
Okay. I think
because
they
I
have.
want to know what quantities they will sell nuggets in.
I know there's like a 4, a 6, a 10. There might be a 20 and maybe even a 50. I don't know if they have higher than that,
Hold on,
but
McDonald's
prove me
menu,
wrong.
nuggets. Let's see the McDonald's menu. Let's see. Why is it only showing me burgers? Burgers, combos, Happy Meal. None of these are nuggets.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
No, we are very much not.
Not yet. Next week, maybe. After they see how well this episode does. McDonald's. Actually, it's going to be
Okay,
Ronald
why?
himself.
I can't find anything on the menu of like nugget packs.
You're lying.
I know you can get like 20. I think 20 is the max.
20? Well, yeah, why don't you? I'm just going to Google how many
Wait, hold on. McDonald's sells a well, no way. McDonald's sells a 50-piece box of chicken for
Yeah, okay. I
nine
told you.
dollars and 99 cents.
Yeah, so the 50 I think is the highest. Um, so yeah, with that in mind, how many do you think you could order?
I think. Well, let's see. If you have a family of four and you have order four 50-piecers, that's 200 nuggets, and that's not too out of the norm. I feel like
What do
if
you
you
mean?
ordered,
What?
I mean, yes, that's out of the norm. Like that's a lot, but like I don't think it's out of the norm to order something for four people. Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
fair. But what if you had like eight
Though I've
people?
never met anyone. I've never met anyone who ordered a 50-piece McNugget
And you definitely haven't met
box.
a family who each person orders 50
Yeah,
nuggets.
no, absolutely not. But I'm saying it's not out of the ordinary. America is the land of excess.
True.
So I don't think I would ever order a 50-piece McNugget box personally. I'm not. Yeah, that's where I'll end that sentence. But I think realistically, it might take a little while because they would have. I'm just thinking about. Obviously, they don't fry them immediately when you order them. They're already made, and they just
Yeah,
put in
some
a
of them.
box for you. But I feel like if you attempted to order 500 chicken nuggets, they would say, like I feel like they might have maybe 100, 150 nuggets on hand at a time before they cook a new batch. That's my guess. So I think if you attempted to order more than 150, they would allow you to, but they'd say like, wait a minute, we have to cook some more. But I think more than 500 chicken nuggets, they would say that's too many.
Hmm.
What do you think? Like, I feel like 500 is a humongous number, but I
Yeah.
feel like they would. This is McDonald's we're talking about. I
So
feel like they'd accommodate it
I
up to
also
that
think it
size.
might depend on the McDonald's because of like there's
That's
a
fair.
McDonald's near me that is
It's a
like
franchise.
it's
Depends
not
on
that
what
big.
spot
It's
you go
like
to.
I mean it's sure it gets business, but like there are McDonald's that have like, way more activity and they're way bigger establishments and they have way more food, you know?
Hmm.
Like I'm sure if you went to McDonald's in like New York City, you could probably get away with way more McNuggets than you could in like the middle of
Oh,
Kansas.
true, because they just have such a humongous volume of like customers. They need infinite numbers of chicken nuggets on
Yeah.
hand.
I don't know. I'm assuming they probably have a policy that limits the number you can order per customer unless you like, I don't know if they like cater, but like obviously it's a different scenario. We're just talking about going through the drive-through like as a person, you know? Um, I don't know. I would
Hmm.
like to think you could order upwards of like uh, at least like 200. I'd say maybe 250 would be the max. But even then, like I don't know. I think it's gonna vary just depending on how many they have available and like how like I don't, how many maybe how busy they are. But yeah, it's a good question. But what's interesting is that I just Googled that to see if I could find an answer. I didn't find an answer to that um, particular question.
Hmm.
But there's an interesting like mathematical question related to it, where somebody asked, "What is the largest number of McNuggets that is impossible to purchase exactly, based on like the quantities that you can buy?"
Oh
So
yeah, what are the quantities? 5, 10,
I
15,
think it's
20?
4, 6, 10, 20, and 50. Um,
I see,
and
yeah.
the answer that was given is 43 McNuggets. I'm too lazy to do the math, but I believe it, because I'm a fool and I believe anything that I read on the internet.
Math checks out. It's not divisible by any of those numbers, obviously evenly, but if you
Oh yeah.
add up the rest, then yeah, I feel like, I'm not about to sit here and write an equation for this,
Yeah, I don't think anybody listening
but I
wants us
believe
to do
that.
math. We do enough of that at school and stuff.
There was one time, um, it was Super Bowl Sunday, not this year, but last year. Um, and so me and my friend were like, yeah, let's go grab some wings from this like wing place in Boston. We weren't gonna order like a ton of wings. It was just wings for him and I, and we were gonna take him back to the place where we were watching the Super Bowl. But we get in there and we're like, what is taking so long? Like, why? We were standing here for like 10 minutes. Like, obviously, yeah, there's a big rush on Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone wants wings. It makes sense that it's going to take a while. We expected that. But it was taking a long time. And then we see a guy walk in like it's like two guys, and they're like, all right, we're here to pick up an order for like I don't remember, insert name here. They ordered 400 wings,
Oh my
and so they
God.
had giant like containers, like metal trays that they were taking to their car for evidently a Super Bowl party, but like still insane.
Wow. That is actually crazy. That makes me want to up my number. Is it so that was that a chain place or just a local place?
No, this is like they only make wings. Like it's the only thing they do, and they're constantly churning out wings. And it's in
Oh,
the
okay.
city, so it's extremely popular.
Okay. So that doesn't seem like that outrageous, I guess. I mean, it's
It's
still
it's
a ton
pretty outrageous, but like, yeah,
for a Super
that
Bowl
definitely
party,
took
I guess
that definitely took like hours to cook,
that's
probably.
that's basically like getting catered. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely. This wasn't something they just called up and said, "Hey, can I get 400 wings?" This was definitely premeditated. It was probably like a day or two in advance. They were like, "Hey, can we cater
yeah.
this?"
Yo,
Yeah.
speaking of big cities though, you remember the New York City pizza rat?
No,
What? Are you serious?
the one who's like carrying it up the stairs.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah, the
remember that.
pizza rat. How do you think he's doing right now?
I think he's definitely dead. Rats don't live for very long.
What about his family then? They reproduce pretty.
I think his family is doing well, and I hope they are continuing to steal pizza from the denizens of New York.
Yeah. I want to meet his family one day. Just say
I'm gonna
hi.
look up what is a rat's lifespan.
Uh,
2 years, or whoa, yeah, 2 years for brown rats and 12 months for black rats, and that was a black rat in that video. So he's dead.
so he's literally like 1 year of life and then he's dead. How sad.
But
What
he
it
enjoyed
like?
eating the pizza.
Yeah, I think he did. That's a good life. Eat pizza, die, wake up, reincarnate as something else, eat pizza again, die. I think that's like
That's
the
all it
objective
takes.
goal of every living creature.
Mm-hmm.
Like name one animal that would not eat pizza if you like threw it on the ground. I don't think you can.
Probably a snake or something herbivorous.
Well, I don't know. I feel like some herbivores might. I mean, technically, there's no meat. Like, oh, actually, no. Yeah, there isn't really. I mean, I guess it's like
Yo,
cheese.
the scientific name of a rat is Rattus rattus. I think that's funny.
I love reading like the scientific names for creatures and then like thinking of them as like Harry Potter spells. You know,
Yo, that's
they
really
kind of
cool.
sound the
Rattus
same.
rattus. Just turns into a rat.
Yeah, the rat spell. Oh
Wasn't there a
man.
guy in the Harry Potter movies who was disguised as a rat?
I
Like,
think you're right. I vaguely
I
remember
was never a
something.
big Harry Potter fan, but I think Ron had like a pet rat,
Oh
and it was just
yeah.
like some guy, and he never knew, and it was just like some guy like living
Oh, you're
in
right.
his
One of the
house.
movies, like it turns out like this rat was actually this like the guy they were looking for or whatever, and like he
Yeah,
was a
yeah, yeah,
prisoner who
yeah.
escaped and he was just hiding as this rat form for like years.
That's right. Can you imagine though? Ron probably like just like has the rat in his cage or whatever. Ron probably like changes clothes or like studies or like goes to sleep in front of this rat. This adult man is just watching this child live his life. That's got to be against
Yeah,
some
that
law.
guy I'm pretty sure was in like Wizard Alcatraz. Like he was like a fucking wanted criminal.
Yeah.
That's
I
kind of
think you're right,
terrifying.
actually.
That's like having a serial killer be your like hamster and watching
Yeah.
you. Oh my God.
Okay, why do hamsters always all die in like the most gruesome, random, insane way? Like
True.
I've never heard of a hamster die of like old age. They always just like fall out of the cage and get eaten by the cat, or like sucked up by the vacuum, or like they fell
Yep.
down the vent in your house and died.
Yep. Into the trash compactor, into the blender,
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
fireplace.
I've never had nor wanted a hamster, but I feel like none of them have ever lived a good life.
Yeah,
Ever.
my friend had one, and it was funny because like I went over his house like probably every week or so. And
Hmm.
one week I went over, and he was like tapping on the glass, and he's like, "Oh no, it might be dead." And then he like picked it up and like put it on the floor. It didn't move, and then like 2 seconds later, it just fucking bolted out of the room. We had to like chase it down. It was crazy.
Bruh.
Hamsters are funny little guys. You know what I've always wanted? A chinchilla.
Chinchillas seem sick.
Yeah, I think they're legal. I'm not sure. Maybe they're not, but
I don't know.
it probably
I feel
depends on
like they're like a pretty.
lots of
Don't they
different
live in like
state.
the jungle? Like I feel like they probably wouldn't want to live in a
No,
house.
they're not. I think they're native to like the Argentinian like plains or something. I could be speaking out of my ass. I should
Where
probably look
do
this up.
chinchillas live?
All right, I'll look up. Can you
The
own them?
rocky slopes of the Andes Mountains.
Yeah,
I would not expect chinchillas to be mountainous animals.
yeah.
I feel like they're
There's
like jungle rats.
oh there's also this other animal I saw in a documentary that is so adorable and lives in like the same kind of area. I forget the name. It's like a tiny like it's a rodent and it looks like a mouse. It's called like a it's like four letters. I think it's like a p. I almost want to say Pepe, but that's not it. It's like it's so cute though.
I'm not a
Can you
fan of
own a
rodents.
chinchilla? As long as the chinchilla is obtained legally and not captured from the wild, owning one in most states is legal without needing a permit or registration. So that's pretty cool.
Dang. Gotta get a chinchilla on campus.
True. It's my stress chinchilla. Um,
He's just squeeze him like a stress ball and he pops.
his eyeballs pop out. Yeah. Um,
You know
I
what would
want.
be a cool pet? Not a chinchilla, but a penguin. I would want a penguin as a pet.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
Well,
like
how
he
would
would
you?
live a terrible life, so I don't actually think that would be viable because like I can't like take in swimming or anything.
Well, what if you went
Like
like I don't know. I mean, if I'm assuming like you'd have to live like in Canada, like up or somewhere like
yeah,
cold.
somewhere cold.
And
For
you
sure,
could
for
go
sure.
swimming with it if you like you took maybe you have like one of those nets, so like you have like your backyard, there's like a lake, and you just like net off a certain area or something, or like make a
Yeah,
pool.
but penguins can go on land.
What?
Did you just penguins go on land? He
I
would just get
know.
up and walk around. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have a fence, and then when it hits the lake, you have like a net that goes like a water fence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's how they do it at the zoo, I think. I mean, they don't have lakes usually; they just have pools. But
Yeah, like a water
wait, do they have
water
penguins at
feature.
the zoo, or do they usually go in
Yes,
aquariums?
they do.
Is it both?
They have penguins at the zoo. Like I worked at a summer camp and like we took a trip to the zoo and they had penguins
Well, like,
and it
what
was
about the
pretty cool.
aquarium? Do they have them too? I feel like I've seen
No,
them
I
there.
don't think so. They might, but like penguins aren't inherently like an a like a aquatic animal. I mean, they are,
They're
but
pretty
like I feel
aquatic.
like they are, but I feel like what I'm saying is like aquariums are for only like fish, pretty much.
Well, I feel like you need more water than land for penguins, though, because they like swim. Haven't you seen Finding? What's it called? Happy Feet? I almost said Finding Nemo, but it's not.
No, you're right. Yeah, they need more. They spend most of their day
Because
in the
I could have
water, but
sworn
still,
like this.
I feel like aquariums are only for things that breathe water.
Yeah. Have you been to the like the Boston Aquarium?
I have not actually,
Because I've been
but
there a
I've
couple
heard it's
times. That's pretty much the only one
pretty
I've been
alright.
to, and I'm pretty sure like there's an enclosure in there that's for penguins, but I could be wrong. Um,
I'll have to check that out. Speaking of penguins, what do you think the weather in Penguin, Tasmania, Australia is right now? Let's find out.
Wait,
It is
I'm sorry.
currently
Did you say Penguin, Tasmania?
Penguin, Tasmania, Australia.
Oh, wait, so Penguin is the name of the town in Tasmania in Australia.
Yes.
Okay.
It is currently 4:32 a.m. on April 11th in Penguin, Tasmania, and it is currently 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The high is going to be 62 and the low is going to be 47. It's partly cloudy with not much wind, only gusts of 2 miles an hour, and it's going to be relatively cool. Um, yeah, there's almost no chance of precipitation, and it's going to be about this temperature for the rest of the week. The air quality is good. The UV index is moderate because I don't know, they're pretty far south. I feel like it's pretty sunny down there. No pollen. Very dry for the next 6 hours. No precipitation whatsoever. And last but not least, would you like to guess the phase of the moon?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Um, I'm gonna go with a waning gibbous.
Ooh, so close. It's a
Oh,
waxing gibbous, so
oh, come
the
on.
opposite side of the spectrum.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I've got a question for you though, because
Yes.
before we started this podcast episode, you told me that you had a place in mind to do the weather. And I'm
Yep.
wondering if you specifically segued in penguins to the pet conversation just so you could say that.
Oh, absolutely, I did.
Oh, you you slimy motherfucker. You sly
Oh,
dog.
I plan everything.
Oh
Every
well.
action you have ever taken, I've planned.
Yeah, I'm actually reading off of a script right now, by the way. This entire show is entirely scripted. We say
Yeah, this is
nothing
all
with our
scripted.
own free will. Um, anyway,
We are bound.
flips page. Ethan, have you heard of
Jack.
Coca-Cola Starlight?
Coca-Cola Starlight?
Yeah,
I have not.
really? Okay. So they announced it a couple months ago. I was in like a Chili's, I think, with my dad eating, and I just saw it on the TV and I was losing my mind because it was just the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I feel like Coca-Cola generally doesn't release many new flavors compared to like Mountain Dew or like I don't know, um, Red Bull. But when they released, they were advertising it. They have like four different versions. There's a bottle and a can, and both of those have a zero sugar variant, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it's described as being space flavored.
Does space have a flavor?
That's what I was wondering. What does space taste like?
I don't know. And I also have never heard of this Starlight.
I
I'm looking it
it's
up. The
I
color
s-
is cool. It's like iridescently red,
it
which
looks
is like
really
cool, I
cool. Yeah.
guess. Looks even more artificial than the normal one, though.
Yeah. And
Hot take, I'm not a fan of Coke. Like, I'll drink Coke. I've never gone out of my way to grab a can of Coca-Cola. If someone's like, hey, want a Coke? I'll say, sure. But I've never like actively been seeking out Coca-Cola. But I am curious as to what this is tastes like, so I'm curious to try it. When does this drop? When are they dropping this?
it's already dropped. They have a they filled up the Coca-Cola like what's it called like
Machine.
machine in my campus cafeteria, and they actually had it there. I don't
Dang.
drink soda though. I don't really like any soda. I have like a Sprite every like maybe once a year, but that's about it. So I'm not really the person to
Yeah,
talk
I'd say
about.
Sprite. Sprite is my favorite. One of my friends at school loves Sprite, like so much loves Sprite. And he has a tower in his room built of the empty Sprite cans he's used. Like he washes them out so they aren't sticky or spill or anything. But I'm not kidding, it's like probably 3 feet tall tower. And it's like wide of just Sprite cans.
Wow,
You
that's
know, you
actually
remember the
incredible.
hat? Remember the hat in SpongeBob where it had like the two cans up top and like
Yeah,
straws that looped down to his mouth? We got him one for his birthday just so that he could like put Sprites up there and just drink Sprites on his hat.
that's crazy.
It's sick, but
Um,
he has a crippling addiction.
um, I've got a question for him, or maybe I mean you can answer too, but you might know from him. Um,
Mhm.
how does he feel about McDonald's Sprite? Because people say it hits different. Does he agree with that? Or
I don't think he's ever had it, but
really? Huh.
yeah,
I thought he's the biggest
he's not from
Sprite
America.
fan.
He's not from America, but yeah, I don't think he's ever had McDonald's Sprite. But that stuff is just a grenade.
What?
It's a grenade.
What?
Like I think if you like threw a can of like a
They
not a
don't give it
can
to you
like
in
a
a
cup.
can.
Yeah, I know a cup of McDonald's Sprite. It would like explode. I think it would be like nitroglycerin.
Why? Why? I've never heard anybody describe a drink as being a grenade.
Well, they always say like McDonald's Sprite is like insane, and it is. It's like extra fizzy. I've had
But
it
I think
before.
they just put ice in it. Isn't that the only change? Like,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's all
I
they
don't
do
know,
is they
man.
put ice in it.
They're doing some black magic, and why are we wrapping back to McDonald's again? This is like the
Oh, true.
this is twice
Well,
in
we're
an
we're
episode.
sponsored. We have to mention it at least five more times. If we won't get paid if we don't do that. So,
Ad read, and welcome to McDonald's, where you can get the Happy Meal. Please don't sue us,
ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
McDonald's. Yeah, now you've done something to me. Now I really want Sprite.
Yeah. I could go for a soda. I haven't had one in probably like 3 years.
I think I'm gonna take a sip of my water bottle in the meantime.
Yeah, it's almost as good. I don't know about you, but like fresh water. is like easily like the best thing you could ever drink. It's so, like just
Oh,
so
absolutely.
refreshing. I don't know why
It
people
is.
don't like water. Like have you know
Yeah,
those
people
people, right?
sleep on water.
Like
Actually, I don't know why I just said that. Nobody sleeps on water. Everybody loves water except for like a very few outliers of society
but
who
you
love
know them,
water.
right? Like in like high
Yeah,
school, for example. Like I knew like a
yeah.
couple kids that would be like, "Oh, I don't like water. I don't drink water." Like what? What? Hello? Like I already have enough issues with people who don't like milk, but I get it. You know, you're weak because like you can't handle the lactose. But people who don't like water and they drink like I don't know soda or like juice all the time, like
Natural selection should have gotten them.
yeah, I mean you're drinking water. It's just while you're drinking water, you're also drinking like pounds and pounds of sugar. So good luck with that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't. I those people are insane. Um,
Some people just scare me.
agreed. I want to talk to you about a hypothetical that I was thinking about,
Okay.
and involves motorcycles.
Motorcycles.
So
I have a semi tangent when we just ask your question first. I'll maybe save it.
okay, good. Love tangents. Um, so engine combustion, right? Um,
Yep.
well, sorry, I should rephrase that. Engines are powered by combustion, correct?
Correct.
Motors are powered by electricity, correct? Is that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the distinction. Um, but they call it a motorcycle, and yet it's a motorcycle, but it has an engine and it's not powered by electricity. So shouldn't it be called an engine cycle?
That's a very good question.
And then
Yeah, I actually never thought about it that way. Yeah, a motor is powered by electricity,
yeah, I
not
mean
combustion. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think they were thinking that hard about it, to be honest. But yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, well then on top of that, I was thinking, well yeah, that's just like a kind of a nitpicking thing. But wouldn't it be cool for like Tesla to release like an electric and then an actual motorcycle, you know?
Hmm.
Like that would be really cool. I mean, I don't know, like I mean, I feel like that's kind of like their objective like to make like driving like evolve and be safer is kind of like the opposite of what a motorcycle is because inherently they're just more dangerous and I don't know. But
Yeah, that's
it'd be
actually a
cool.
really good point. I just found something on Stack Exchange of all websites that, like, kind of, I'm not sure if this is the real reason, but could be a good reason. It says historically the word engine had the same root as ingenious, and historically the word engine meant ingenious machine, which were
Huh,
not engines in the modern sense. Like we call
interesting.
engines an engine because they run on combustion and gasoline, but back then, I guess, an engine, as we would now call it, was just a motor. And we've
Yeah.
adapted the two terms. But that's pretty interesting. That's a really good question that you posed, and now I have learned something.
I feel like I, I feel like like I almost feel like there's some like supernatural force like breaking through the fourth wall right now because if Brock was on this podcast, he would be just yelling at me like, "Jack, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like
Yeah,
nobody thinks that hard. Just shut up. Shut up and read your script."
yeah,
Like,
but like, I think the fact that somehow this was brought up on the day he isn't here is, yeah,
all right, because
it's
he
divine
rides
intervention.
motorcycles, right?
Yeah, he has his motorcycle license. He has a motorcycle.
Yeah, we should just talk about all the things Brock likes while he's not here. That'd be really
Well,
fun.
I'm gonna bring something up. Literally just this morning, or I guess afternoon, I went out to lunch with some friends, and the TV in like the restaurant we went to was like playing a motocross race, like just motorcycles doing jumps and stuff, and it was a race. That's what motocross is. But
Hmm.
my friend, let me clarify, one of my friends made the most bold take out of any take I've heard in quite a long time. He said, "This is not a sport." We're like, "Yeah, it's like motocross is a sport. Of course it is. Like it's a physical activity and like it's a motor sport. Sure, it's not a sport in like what would you would think of like running or soccer or like kickboxing, but it's a motor sport. It's still technically like a subclass of sport." And he goes, "No, there's no like natural skill involved. It's all just like learning to drive. He's like, I could do this. We're like, are you an idiot? Like, of course there's a natural skill involved. It's called reaction time. You have to have like reaction time and like a good sense of balance and like timing and know what you're doing. You have to flex a lot of muscles when you're like standing up on a bike. You're going over jumps. You have to really tense your body and prepare to like get the impact of jumps. We're like, it's definitely a physical activity. It's definitely a sport. All of us were saying this, and he just would not stop arguing. He's like, no, this is not. It's not a sport. Like, there's no. And then he like kind of twisted his own point from this into a further tangent that unless there's some level of, or sorry, he twisted it into the fact that innate skill does not make you a better athlete, which we were all thought was like stupid. We were like, we made the point that basketball players, a lot of taller people are more predisposed to be basketball players, which I think is objectively true. And he goes, nah, there are people who aren't as tall in the NBA. And we're like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that generally taller people are better basketball players. Like they can reach the hoop easier. Sure, not everyone has to be 7 feet. And statistically, the super tall people are pretty bad at shooting. They can just like do layups and stuff, but they're not like great shooters.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, nah, like you don't need innate skill. It's all training. Training's the only thing that matters. And we were just like, that's stupid. Yes, training is extremely important, but there is a level of innate skill in every sport. Like any sport needs hand-eye coordination. Sure, that's something that can be learned, but some people are way better at it, you know?
Yeah. I've got a question for you. Does this kid play a sport?
Shockingly, yes. He's very, very athletic.
What? Because this is something like I would see like, the stereotypical like World of Warcraft player that sits in a chair 24/7 would say, not
Yeah.
like someone who actually plays sports. What?
He's not like on any like official teams. He just like plays a lot of intramurals. Like I play with him.
That's
Several
fine.
intramural sports, and it's like, bro, we're good at the sports. It's not, yeah, but I've never played ice hockey before. If I went out on the court on the rink, I would fail at ice hockey because other people are innately better than me at it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like
It was just an interesting
yeah,
topic.
my thought process, right? Like for what is a sport? Because I've thought about this before. Um, like I think the definition of sport, like obviously there's been like in the past like decade, I think a loosening of the definition because before like nobody would consider a video game to be a sport, but like I would say esports are sports now, right? Because it requires a competitive, environment. You need to train, you need to be good at it, right? Would you agree
This
with
kind of
that?
goes back to what we were talking about with the motorsports. Sure, it's not a sport in what you're thinking of as a sport. I think it's a subsection of sports. It's a sport without like the physical aspect. So like esports, yeah, it's a competition. I wouldn't call it a sport. I think the E is important in that distinction. The same
Okay.
reason motor is important in a motorsport.
Okay, so is
Because
chess
he
a
was saying
sport?
absolutely not.
Really? Okay. I guess we disagree then. It's like I'm pretty flexible with my definition. I would say that esports are all sports, and physical sports are too. I just don't really like. Obviously, right? Yeah, like Counter Strike and basketball there's a clear difference. One is physical and the other is not. But I think the sport aspect doesn't come from the physicality of it. It comes from just the competitive nature. Like two teams and like there's a winner basically. You have to, and there's like some skill
Mm-hmm.
involved. You have to train to be good. Some people aren't as good. That kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's always a good question because it's up to personal preference. I think where you draw that line. But I think for sure motocross and like anything where like obviously I can understand like maybe he thinks driving vehicles, the vehicle is like helping a lot. Yeah, obviously, like if you're riding a bicycle in the motocross event, you're probably not going to do as good. But like still comparatively, like if everyone is on the same vehicle, you still need to be like have skill to come out on top. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think
I
that
don't
was
know.
a silly take.
The definition of sports is vague.
Hmm. Let us know in the comments if anybody would like to take a position. I'm sure you
Yeah,
can.
let us know what you think the definition of sports are.
hmm Our one viewer out there, maybe he has an opinion, or she, or they, or I don't know. I always like to just assume we have only one viewer and just talk because it makes it more personal.
We're talking directly to that person.
hmm Um, I mean, it doesn't really make sense if you look at like the podcast demographics because then like this person is 10% woman and like 10% Swedish, I think, from the last time I checked. But I guess you could be that potentially.
Very interesting.
Anyway, I got some websites pulled up. And these are some things I think actually not all of them, but a couple of them we might have brushed on before. Um, and I think we can do a little of each if you're interested. Does that sound good to
Let's
you?
go for it. Yeah, sure.
All right. So first, I think we'll start off with one that you have done before. Um, I think we'll do five of each. I think that sounds good. So, you were here when we did this before, but it's the list of most expensive things by category.
Oh boy. Okay.
We did books, we did photographs, I think, of celebrities, we did domain names, and we did films.
Watches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did watches, we did transport infrastructure, and we did cars as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think this time we're gonna do music videos. Oh God, I can't believe this is on here, but we'll get to it. Paintings. What the fuck is that? What is a philatelic item?
I have no
It's a
idea.
stamp. Okay, I'll do stamps, I guess. And then photographs.
Okay.
Actually, let's just do all of them because there's not that many more. There's only four other ones. Because these are interesting. I won't go like too long into it, but I think it'll be cool to know. Let's see if we can go quickly through these. So
Sure.
music videos.
The most expensive music video?
Yeah. So let's just go with the top five for each. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right. So music videos. You got any things you think are on here for sure? And this is okay. This to be clarified. This is the most expensive.
Like
To I
production.
think production. Yeah.
I mean, what does the Fox say? Definitely has to be up there. Cinematic masterpiece. Literally no film or book or play or movie or other music video has ever come close to the cinematography in that music video. So that's got to be on
No. I'll give you a hint though. Three of them are by the same artist.
there.
Like that's crazy to me.
I have no idea.
Okay. Should I go by nominal or adjusted price? So like I guess that's adjusting for inflation.
Adjusted.
Okay. All right. So number five is the song "Estranged" by Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm
I'm
guessing the money all came from pyrotechnics. That's what I'm gonna guess.
maybe adjusted for inflation. This is $8.96 million.
Jeez.
All right. So the next three are by the same artist, which is Madonna. So she has
Huh.
Bedtime Story for $8.50 million. Express Yourself for $10.44 million, and Die Another Day for $8.78 million.
Okay, Madonna. We get it.
Um,
You have money.
and if you notice, these aren't in like the correct order of price, but that's because the nominal price
Or
is
the
what it's
adjusted
ranked by.
prices.
But
Yeah.
for number one, uh, it was released in the year 1995.
Oh
Um,
dang.
you might actually be able to guess this one. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know. For some reason, Prince comes to mind, but I don't know.
Ooh, you're thinking along the right lines. It's actually a Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson song.
Oh, that
Scream.
makes sense.
Scream is the name. And that
That
was
makes sense
eleven
actually.
point eight nine million dollars.
Dang. That's insane.
All right, next. Uh, I hate that this is on here, but most expensive non-fungible tokens.
Skip.
I'm skipping it.
Skip.
I'm Good call, good call. This was already in another episode, maybe even multiple,
Actually,
but
just read the first one.
The first one, I think you know what it is probably. It's pretty famous.
Is it like the apes?
Wait, what did I do? Oh, here it is. Oh, it's not the most expensive anymore. Because I remember I thought that I know there's like at one point there was one. It was basically this artist took all of his work that he made before and just like put it into one giant PNG image and sold it for like millions of dollars. I think that was Beeple because that's he. It says he's number two. No, I'll just tell you the prices, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So number five is value. So should I do the total artwork value or the highest sale value? Hmm.
Artwork value, because that's what's real. I
Okay.
don't care how much some could get paid for.
94.6 or $94.7 million is number five.
Dang.
84.8 is number four. 101.0 is number three. 175.6
Oh
is
my
number
gosh.
two. And number one is 356.7 million US dollars
Oh my
for a
gosh.
bunch of pixels that you can screenshot on your own.
That's pain.
We do not stan NFTs on this podcast.
We're NFT haters.
True. I saw a post earlier today where it was like trans rights, check, gay rights, check, and like a bunch of checks, and then all the way at the end it was like NFT enjoyers' rights, X. No, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty based.
Yeah. That's very true.
Let's see here. Um, all right, paintings, most expensive paintings.
Mona
Uh,
Lisa has to be number one.
let's see, one, two, three,
I feel
four.
like there's going to be a Jackson Pollock painting up there.
What? This is whack. Wait, am I just blind? Huh. So,
Starry Night,
all
probably.
right, I'll read it. It's very interesting to me.
Just
So,
read them, yeah.
yeah, number five is the original price in million USD. Uh, so, number five is it's called number 17A, which is a Jackson Pollock painting, which I guess makes sense. It's just a bunch of
Yep.
scribbles. $200 million roughly.
Dang.
Um, number four is Paul Gauguin or Gauguin. Um, it's called Nafiafa Ipo, or I think translated it says When Will You Marry? $210 million. Um, number three is The Card Players by Paul Cézanne, and it's over $250 million. Oh, these are the original prices, by the way. Uh,
Hmm.
so number two is Willem de Kooning's Interchange, and do you know what number one is?
Hmm.
What was your guess? You got one?
The Mona Lisa, Starry Night.
And it's weird because it's not. Number one is Salvador Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci, $450.3 million. And I was wondering because I didn't see Mona Lisa anywhere on here.
I can see this. I can see. I can kind of make it makes sense that
And
the
you know what?
first one is
You
a
know why I
picture of
realized it's
Jesus.
not on here is because the Mona Lisa was never sold
Oh yeah, it
to
was
a public buyer.
given.
At
Yeah,
least as far as I'm aware, which
just
is
lives
why
in a
it's not
museum.
listed here. Yeah, it's in a museum. So I'm sure like Michelangelo's like Sistine Chapel would also be like ridiculously high, but obviously you
Hmm.
can't sell a ceiling. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, interesting.
You can in Civ 6.
What?
It's a great work of art in Civ 6, and you can trade it.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, yeah. Uh, love Civilization 6. That's a game that maybe some people
we are
would know. Shout out to
we,
those
we
people.
are we are
But
big
anyway,
fans of Civ 6.
next is philatelic items, which I believe is just stamps. Number five is a U.S. stamp. And the adjusted price is $5.2 million. Number four is the um, British. Oh, it's Mauritius. Is a British colony off the southeast coast of Africa.
That's
So it's a
Mauritius, by the way. But
Mauritius.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Um, $7.2 million. British Guyana has this one I've actually heard about. It's the 1 cent magenta is extremely rare. and like stamp collectors just go crazy for it. And it's $10.4 million. Um, oh, apparently I can't count because I skipped number 5, but whatever. That's just a random U.S. stamp. Number 1 is it's from the Qing Dynasty in China, and it is valued at $20.5 million. And it is a red
Dang.
revenue block of 4 and sheet of 25 5 large dragon stamps.
Oh yeah, I
So,
see. I'm looking it up.
oh,
That's
yeah,
pretty. That's a nice stamp.
that one looks cool. So I get why that one's sought after. But
I saw a
honestly,
Tom Scott video about like the super expensive British stamp.
yeah,
It was like
honestly,
locked in a vault.
I'm not like, I get a lot of these, but stamps, I'm not like, I could care less about stamps. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, stamps are cool. I'm not gonna pay more than 1 cent for them though.
true, true. Um, list of most expensive photographs. There's 5. Let's see here. Um, I don't know what any of these are, so I'm gonna skip them.
Just read yeah,
It
you can
says
read number 1.
number 1 is Andreas Gursky's Rhine 2. Yeah, I don't know what any of these are. I'm assuming they're just famous photographs. But like the one I was
How
looking
is this the
for,
most expensive image ever? Don't get me wrong, nice pretty picture of the Rhine River, but I feel like
it
I could take this picture of the river.
yeah,
It's
that
just a
I could
picture
have
of a
painted
river.
that probably. Um,
Yep.
yeah, it's $4.3 million. I'm pretty sure like when we went over this before, it was like was it Rihanna's like baby pictures that were going for like tens of millions of dollars?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's way more than these that are actual photographs. So that's kind of a state of America as a whole, I guess. Next up is records. Now this one's interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, oh, I've heard about this one. This one's crazy. Um, so have
I
you
feel
heard?
like the golden record would be the most expensive one, but that's obviously never been sold. It was just
Are you
shot into space.
familiar with the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin CD from the Wu-Tang Clan?
No?
So this has a really cool story behind it. It might say it here. Um, okay, let's see. So so only one copy of this record was produced, and it was sold November 24th, 2015 for $2 million. And on December 9th, the identifier was or it was identified that the buyer was a hedge fund manager, Martin Shkreli, who I think he's kind of famous. On September 10th, 2021. So this is recent news. This is why I remember it. The Wu-Tang Clan broke their own record when the United States Department of Justice, which had seized the album from Martin Shkreli as part of a forfeiture, sold the album for $4 million to crypto collective Pleaser DAO. So they literally just like yeeted it.
Bruh.
It's literally the only copy ever made is like of the Wu Tang Clan's album, which is really cool to me.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, there's some other ones on here. The Beatles. This one doesn't have like a set list because I think a lot of these don't have exact prices. The Beatles' White Album, The Quarrymen, That'll Be the Day, Elvis Presley's My Happiness, Frank Wilson, Do I Love You. Again, the Beatles. A lot of Beatles ones are famous. That makes sense. 3 more categories. We've got sculptures. Um, let's see here. What are these? What on earth? Okay, so the top 5, um, they don't really have names, I guess, for the most part. Um, and nor do I know who these people are. The only one that has a picture is number 4. That's just a metal rabbit that apparently sold for $92.2 million, and it looks like the freaking Apple iPhone dog that you used to hook up your iPod Touch to and make it dance. Um,
Oh my gosh.
the top 3 are by Alberto Giacometti, that were like sold for over hundreds of millions of dollars. So cool. I would have expected like like Statue of David or whatever, like all the
Yeah, I was
famous
gonna
ones.
say, I feel
But I
like
think
David
again
would be the
those are
most
kind of the
expensive
Mona
one.
Lisa thing where those aren't actually sold. So I guess that's probably why
Yeah,
they're
true.
there. Um, sports cards. Now, this one's cool. You got any predictions for top like highest price sports?
Babe Ruth has to be on there, right?
Um,
That's all I can think of. Other than that, I have no
Babe
idea.
Ruth is on here, but he's not anywhere near the top, surprisingly enough.
Hmm.
So I'll give you the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. Oh God. Okay. So LeBron. Wow, this is weird. Actually, I'm gonna do the top 10 because a lot of these are kind of funky. So number 10, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know how to say that correctly, but it's a Greek professional basketball player from the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, Kobe Bryant is number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady was number 8. LeBron James is number 7. Mike Trout is number 6. Luka Doncic is a Slovenian basketball player. LeBron James again at number 4. Mickey Mantle is number 3. I've heard that was a really
I
rare
can
one.
see that. Yeah.
Um, Number 2 is weird. It's all it says is Pikachu Illustrator. So it considers, like, I think it's the Pokemon card, like the rarest Pikachu or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's listed with the sports cards, and that's
I'm
that's
looking
number
at a
2.
Pikachu Illustrator card.
Yeah,
It's just Pikachu with a paintbrush.
yeah,
It's in Japanese, I see here.
yeah. It was probably only released in Japan. But on the notes it says purchased by Logan Paul from renowned collector Dubsy in Dubai. The sale is certified by Guinness World Records as the most expensive Pokemon trading card sold at a private sale. And that sold for
Bro.
$5.275 million.
Oh my gosh.
Number 1 is Honus Wagner, a German-American baseball
Huh.
shortstop player who played 21 seasons in the MLB. And that sold for $6.6 million.
Dang.
All right, last one.
Pretty insane.
Maybe we'll have more knowledge about this category than most, but it's video games cost to develop.
Oh, to develop, that's a very different statistic. Red Dead was pretty expensive, I'm pretty sure, right?
Let's see. Development costs. All right, so that's what it's going by. It looks like they're kind of not really in a good order. I'll go for top 10 here because they're not really giving me any numbers that are like useful. Number 10 is Shenmue, which I thought was like a meme game, but I think at the
Yeah,
time when
me
it came
too.
out, it was like actually like pretty like nobody had
Insane
made
graphics.
3D stuff like that before.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, GTA 4 is number 9. Dead Space 2 is number 8. Shadow of the Tomb Raider from 2018 apparently is number 7.
Really? I
Yeah.
feel like Shadow of the Colossus might be on here.
Yeah, I would have thought. It might be later, but Destiny number 6. That's kind of
Okay.
interesting. I wonder if they can, because that's still updated, I think, or they have
Yeah,
like
don't they
Destiny.
count? Yeah, yeah. I wonder if they count the updates and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Halo number 2 is number 5. Halo 2.
Halo's fire.
Yeah, Halo game. Not surprised. Final Fantasy 7 is number 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I played that one. That's number 3. Ooh, okay. Do you have any guess? Is there any game that you know you like the number 1 game you think would be the highest cost of production that would be on here? Because this is number 2 for me.
Wait, so we're on number 2 or 1?
It's number 2, but this is the one I would have thought was number 1. I don't know if you'll know what number 1 is because I don't.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay, well it's Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, I can. That makes sense.
And
And
that's
despite that,
rough.
it was still trash.
That is rough that it's the number 2 cost to produce of all time, and it was one of like the worst received games of all time. So that's
Yeah.
really rough. Number 1 is apparently not out yet. And it's called Star
Really?
Citizen. It's an in-development multiplayer space trading
Oh,
and
I've heard
combat
about
simulation
this.
game. The game is being developed and published by Cloud Imperium Games for Microsoft Windows. You've heard about this?
I've heard of it. Like, I don't know anything about it. I've just heard of it.
That's kind of crazy. It's apparently over $339 million to produce. In perspective, Cyberpunk, which is number 2, is $174 million, and Star Citizen has not even released yet, which is wacky.
That's insane. Yeah, so it's not even done.
Let me see when this started production, because that's even crazier. It started in 2011. Pre-production was 2010.
Oh
And
my
it got a
gosh.
2012 Kickstarter campaign, which drew over $2 million. But man, that game that game better be crazy when it comes out.
Yeah. For
Um,
that much money? Oh my gosh.
yeah. All right. So we got all the expensive stuff out of the way. Now, I don't know if you remember, but in a lot of the episodes, me and Brock would go through a Reddit post that had some of the weirdest historical events ever.
Oh yes, I remember this Reddit post.
All right, we'll go
Like I
through
remember
5 of
talking about
these.
these
I
in so
think that
many
would be
episodes.
cool.
I still think about the HMS Trafalgar sometimes and the Carmania.
Yeah,
I think that was just such an awesome story.
yeah, they're awesome stories. We're getting towards the bottom now, so I don't know how many good ones there are left, but I'll read the 5, I guess. So it says during a Viking raid in Luna in 859 um, AD, I'm assuming, the siege
Yeah, I would
was
assume
led
so.
by Bjorn Ironside and Hastion. Hastion died, but before that, he converted to Christianity because he wanted to be buried in Luna. 100 unarmed men went inside to deliver the body. Haitian jumped out of the coffin, and his men took the weapons inside the coffin and sacked the city. Oh my God.
That seems a little unfair, frankly.
He's like, you thought I was dead, but I was not.
The bad guys were like, you know what? You're right. We'll give you the honor of dying and being buried here. And he was like, get pranked. I'm destroying your whole city. That seems a little unfair.
That's so crazy.
Poo poo to you.
But apparently they failed. So it says they failed successfully because they thought they were attacking Rome and not Luna, but they did it
Bruh.
anyway. All right, next one. The Emu Wars, obviously. I mean, everyone kind of knows about that, where like
Yep.
Australia literally fought a war against the emus and lost. Um,
Because they were using too many bullets and it was costly.
yeah. All right, the next one, Napoleon getting attacked by a horde of rabbits. So basically, the story goes that a rabbit hunt was set up to celebrate the treaties of Tilsit, and they ended up amassing somewhere between hundreds and thousands of rabbits. Accounts vary. The day of the hunt, they set the rabbits in cages surrounding the area that they would be hunting in. They released them once everyone was set, but instead of being scared, the bunnies swarmed the hunting party. At
Bruh.
first, they
This is like
thought it
Monty
was,
Python.
yeah, really, the killer bunny of Carbonog. At first, they thought it was funny, but then it got overwhelming, and Napoleon and others had to flee from the bunnies in a coach. That's pretty
Dang.
funny. I like that
Imagine
one.
listening to bunnies.
Yeah, emus, bunnies. Animals are forces of nature, man. You can't mess with them, especially
That's
not in
true.
bulk. All right. In World War II, British commandos filled the ship with explosives, tried to sail incognito into Germany's largest dry dock, but was discovered and fired upon by all the shore batteries, and the ship started getting hit again and again, and any single hit could detonate the explosives. They somehow managed to sail the ship at full speed straight into the gate of the dry dock, propelling the ship halfway out of the water and getting it stuck on the gate, making it impossible to tow away. A small task force then attacked the dock facilities before retreating back, but sadly the ship didn't explode as the timer had failed. So they were trying to just
Bruh.
blow up an entire dock by like suicide bombing with a boat, and they got stuck. Like they dodged every
And they didn't
single
even
bullet.
explode.
Yeah. Well, not yet. That's not the end of the story. It might. The next day, a bunch of German officers and officials came to examine the British ship. Meanwhile, half a mile away, captured commandos were being tortured for information. To them, their mission had failed, and now they were facing some brutal treatment. The explosives on the ship suddenly detonated. The explosion was massive. It destroyed the dock, hundreds of soldiers that were sent to secure the dock, and killed all the German officers and officials that had come to inspect it. So those being tortured heard the explosion and got to have the last laugh. So they ended up killing more people because like the Germans came to check out like the failure the next day.
Oh
So
my god.
I
So
and
I
some
guess it was a victory in the end for them.
yeah yeah and
This is World War
guy
Two or one, you said?
this is World War II, yeah. So it's Nazis. You just killed Nazis.
Where was the where was this?
It doesn't say, but the person who posted this said that he always wondered why it was never made into a film since there's so many twists and turns. Um, but yeah, it doesn't say
That's
exactly.
pretty
But
funny.
yeah. And last one. Oh wait, there we go. Uh, Ex-Nazi and cult leader pedophile Paul Schaefer was so obsessed with having the children of his compound, Colonia Dignidad, love him and only him that he once took all of the children of the compound to a river where he had someone dressed as Santa Claus floating on a raft. He then shot and killed Santa in front of all the children and told them all that Santa's dead. The only holiday we ever need to celebrate here is my birthday.
Oh my god.
That is insane.
That's horrifying.
Oh my God.
Was he did he you said he was like a kidnapper, right? You said?
Nazi pedophile, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bro, that's insane. Those kids, I hope they made it out.
Yeah. Uh, that's definitely a rough childhood. All right, and the last one is the only one that the one one of the three Wikipedia things that we haven't went on before, and I think this one's interesting to me. If you'd like to go through it, is
The Wikipedia?
multilingual presidents of the United States and which languages they knew.
Hmm.
Are you interested?
Sure.
All right. Um, so I'll just say the name of the president, and you have to tell me which languages you think they might have spoken. So, how about John Adams? Well, these are all
Mm,
multilingual, by the way. So obviously they know English, but
yeah, I feel like most of the beginning presidents, it's almost always just going to be French, right?
so
It's got to be just French.
it's not. It is French. You're right. It's not just French though. So it says he learned to read Latin at a young age, and he
Oh,
attended
Latin.
school for Latin, and he also learned French while posted in France during the Revolutionary War.
Got you. Yeah, I'm thinking France for a lot of them because just because like France was our ally in
Yeah.
like the Revolutionary War, so I feel like most of them probably had it. But Latin, that's a good one too.
Thomas Jefferson is up next. You got any guesses? French? Is it just French, you think, or what?
French, probably Latin again.
Hmm.
That might be it.
All right. Well, I think Thomas Jefferson might actually know the most languages out of any president. Um, it says he spoke and read multiple languages, which included French. According to notes he made while traveling, he was able to speak French, Latin, and Italian. He claimed to be able to read all of these languages. In addition, he also claimed to read Greek and Spanish. He studied Old English and German to some extent. And a bunch of other
Dang.
books and dictionaries, grammar manuals in his office after his death suggested that he studied Arabic, Irish, and Welsh. His proficiency in these languages was not known.
That's still kind of baller. This man really was a worldly guy, apparently.
Yeah, that's actually like a pretty good, like, that's like 10 languages or something.
It's a
That's
huge
crazy.
haul. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Jefferson told John Quincy Adams that he had learned the language uh, over the course of 19 days while sailing from United States to France. Um, I think he's talking about Spanish here because it says he borrowed a copy of Don Quixote from a friend and read it on the voyage.
Dang.
But Adams was doubtful because he said Jefferson tended to tell large stories and exaggerate things.
Yeah, I
James
was also
Madison.
thinking about that because like they might just be embellishing. They're the president. They just want to sound
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
for
who
sure.
knows? Who knows?
Actually, little tangent. Did you see that video that Kim Jong Un put out like a week or two ago?
No.
Oh my God, it's so funny. He basically he had like his government guys put together a video to make him look like badass, and he wears like sunglasses and like a black leather jacket. He looks like a greaser, but like actually greasy, you know, because he's like chubby.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and like his hair like has like he's all like pushed back. It's insane, and everything is shot in like slow motion too, with like music in the background, and he's just like walking in front of his like missiles and stuff and like his army. It's crazy.
Bruh. I'll have to look at that later.
Yeah. Um, James Madison was Latin, Greek, French, um, and he also knew Hebrew apparently. I'm
Hmm.
just gonna run through these because they're all kind of. I just kind of want to know what they know.
Hmm.
James Monroe knew French. John Quincy Adams knew Dutch, um, Italian, Russian, and Greek to some extent. Martin
Dang.
Van Buren was the only president who did not have English as his first language.
Huh.
He spoke Dutch
I
as
mean,
his
he does
first
have
language.
Van in his middle name, or like
Yeah,
that's part of his last name. So definitely not English.
yeah, he spoke Dutch as his first
Dutch.
language. English was his second language, and he learned a little bit of Latin. William Henry Harrison spent a considerable amount of time learning Latin. Um, he also learned a small amount of French. John Tyler learned Latin and Greek. James Polk um, He learned a little bit of Greek and Latin. James Buchanan, Latin and Greek. Latin and Greek again for Rutherford B. Hayes. James A. Garfield, Latin and Greek also. But he also campaigned in English and German, which he is the first American president to campaign in two languages. And he was
Dang,
also
cool.
ambidextrous, apparently. Not related to language, but that's also cool.
Dang, James Garfield has a lot going for him,
Yeah.
and he was also the only one, or was it Grover Cleveland, that had two terms separated by another person.
I can't remember. Uh, I do know he's most known for coming up with a funny orange cat, though, which
It
is
was
pretty
Grover
cool.
Cleveland. It was Grover Cleveland.
Oh,
But yeah,
Grover
funny
Cleveland
cat.
came up with Garfield? That's crazy. You would have thought it was Garfield. Anyway,
Dang.
Chester A. Arthur, also Latin and Greek. Honestly, I've never even heard of that guy. So apparently he's a president. Uh, all right, 20th century presidents. Theodore Roosevelt, German, French. What else we got here? I think a little bit of Latin, Greek, and Dutch. Woodrow Wilson has German. Herbert Hoover. Uh, this is interesting.
Whoa, yeah, I'm
Wait,
reading the wiki now with you.
so it says
Translated a book from Latin to English.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it says he oh wait. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so he knows Latin and he also knows Mandarin. He speaks Mandarin Chinese because he lived in China for about a year.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
But he says he never learned more than 100 words. But he would talk in Mandarin to keep private conversations from the press or guests.
Huh, that's pretty
Uh,
funny.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was German and French. He spoke them both, but he also spoke them with a distinct New England accent. Attaboy.
That's really funny.
And he also knew a little bit of Latin. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like, can you imagine just like speaking a foreign language but having like just a very American accent? I'm sure that happens a lot, but like
Yeah,
just like
that's,
to
I
the
never thought of
extent
it
like
that way.
I'm imagining, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh, Jimmy Carter. Uh, he has a functional knowledge of Spanish, but he's apparently
Never
not
been
grammatically
perfect.
perfect. Uh, anything else? I think it's just Spanish for him.
No. Bill
Uh,
Clinton chose German in college
German. All
at
right.
Georgetown.
Um, he also speaks the language of love, apparently, based on his presidency.
That's very true.
Anyway, Spanish for George W. Bush as well. Um, yep. Barack Obama. All right, we're getting close to modern day now. He lived in Jakarta, Indonesia, so he attended Indonesian language schools, so he knew Indonesian. Even though, but he doesn't claim to know any foreign languages, but I'm pretty sure he might have just known that as a child, I guess. And that's all that's listed here. I don't know about Trump or Biden, but it's probably best we leave it there because anything after Obama just becomes overtly political. So,
Yep.
any last
I like that
comments
idea.
today, Ethan? I think we had a great episode without Barack.
Yeah, I think
Not
this is
because of his absence, but just maybe a coincidence. I don't know.
in light of his absence.
You could
But
connect some
yes.
strings, perhaps, but
Yeah, this was a good episode, and I hope to see you again next week.
all right. Take care, everybody. I'm gonna do the thing now. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.